right. There's 12 boxes. That's times 8. And you make them for both, right? Yeah. $3. Say free. Camera's on. Thank you.
Here we go.
So you guys busy?
Hi Jennifer, just gonna share some screens. So, well, I guess you can, well, I won't bother sharing the screen here because then you can share, then I'll just switch back and forth as necessary.
Sounds good. Oh, sorry, you want to see my email? Don't do that.
Okay, so let me just,
Go.
Hi Jen, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you doing?
Not too bad.
Thanks for accommodating me by Zoom. The weather's holding out, as it turns out. Who knew? I didn't know this morning what it was going to be like, but thanks for accommodating.
I've just got one more connection that I've got to do here, Jennifer, so that I can present the other screen. Where am I here?
Did you buy any of our stuff at the Riches sale?
One dump truck.
We bought our dump truck?
Yeah. Yeah, that international. We sold a few highway trucks. Yeah. It was a high sale actually, of values.
That truck sold for $49,000.
Oh, yeah, so I
Single
bought,
bench truck.
yeah, no, I bought a.
Presentation.
That
I
was,
think
that
ours was a free one or something.
it was 49.
Yeah, 49 minutes.
That was good, right?
Oh, it's under.
This had a lot of stuff in there, actually.
Yeah.
It's the one that's president building over here. Yeah, it should be that one.
Okay, that's the one? Okay. So I'll have that ready. Okay.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening. We've been here since 2 o'clock. We've done our general business and then we had our supper break and we did some in-camera items. So I will ask now for a resolution to come out of camera, please.
Resolved that as per section 152 for the Municipal Act, Council of the Rural Municipality of St. Clements does now resume sitting a regular meeting.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Boulanger seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And then there, I'll just start the recording of the video so that we are recording the Zoom meeting.
Recording in progress.
Okay, the first item we have under planning this evening is conditional use number 31 of 2024. If I could have a resolution to move into the Conditional Use Board.
Resolved that the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be open for conditional use 31 of 2024.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Horbus, Counselor Spicer seconds, all in favor, opposed, and carried. And I will turn it over to the planner to walk us through that conditional use application, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The property in question is located at Road 77 North, and the applicant is seeking council's approval to allow for a contractor's establishment that focuses on environmental waste management and construction rentals in the agricultural general zone. And this is just a summary table of that statement. Here is a site plan, a supportive mapping showing the location of the property. It's approximately 7 acres and relatively freed. Here is the applicant's site plan showing the location of the storage materials, being the bin and portable toilets. And should council wish to approve this application, we're recommending that it be limited to what has been presented and that any further changes, replacements, or additions would require a new conditional use approval. I noticed that the applicant mentioned that this was a temporary plan and that the applicant owner obtains all required permits as required by the Red River Planning District and the municipality. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you for that, Jennifer. Is the applicant in the audience this evening?
One of them.
Do you have anything that you want to add to your application this evening? If you could just come to the podium so we can all hear you. Nothing to add? Okay. I noticed there's a few other people in the audience and I don't have anybody else on my list here, but is there anybody in the audience who wishes to speak on this application? I don't see anybody putting their hand up. If council is ready to deal with this application, what I will do is I will ask for a resolution to close the public hearing.
Resolved that the public hearing for conditional use 31 of 2024 be closed and the regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Belanger, Councilor Sutherland seconds, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Is council ready to deal with this application? Okay, if I can have the resolution, please.
Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 32800 of property legally described as Lot 1, Plan 65294 and located at 32030 Road 77 North has made application for conditional use 31 of 2024 in order to allow contractors establishment, environmental waste management construction rental company in the A80 agricultural general zone. Therefore, be it resolved, conditional use application number 31 of 2024 be approved with the following conditions. The conditional use is limited to what is being presented in this application. Any further changes, replacements, or additions would require new approval. And 2, applicant owner obtains all required permits, licenses from the Red River Planning District and the municipality if required. Approval shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of the date of making.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councilor Belanger, second. Councilor Horbus. I guess I do have one question. I believe it was the planner said that this was going to be temporary. Did council want to put anything more in there as to a time limit?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Just for clarification with respect to temporary in nature, meaning that if it were to expand or grow, that the applicant was looking for a different location. So I think the first condition may address that.
Okay. And then it is only good for 12 months if they don't act on it, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, any other comments, questions? Okay, I have a mover and I have a seconder, and if there is nothing else, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, the next application we have is a variation order, and it's variation 105 of 2024. If I can have a resolution to move into variation board, please.
Resolved that the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be open for variation order 105 of 2024.
Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Sutherland, Councilor Strang, seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And if I can turn it over to the planner to walk us through this variation application.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The property in question is located in Floodway Drive in an agricultural restricted zone. and the applicant is seeking council's approval to vary the unit area and height to allow for the construction of a storage building. So in the agricultural restricted zone, the unit area for an accessory structure has a limit of 1,280 square feet, and the applicant is proposing 2,400 square feet. There's also a maximum for height of 20 feet, and the applicant is proposing 21.58 feet. Here is an aerial photo of the subject property, and a site plan showing the location of the proposed structure in proximity to the property lines and to the existing residence. The council wish to approve this application. It is recommended that the variance be limited to what has been presented, that any further changes, replacements, or additions would require new approval, and that the applicant owner obtain all required permits from the Red River Planning District and the municipality. Thank you.
Thank you. Council members, any questions for the planner? Is the applicant in the audience this evening? Do you have anything that you want to add to your application at this point in time?
No.
Okay, council, do you have any questions for the applicant this evening? Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to speak on this application? Not seeing or hearing anybody, so if council is ready to deal with this application, I will ask for a resolution to close the variation board, please.
Resolved that the public hearing for variation order 105 to 2024 be closed and the regular session of council be reconvened.
Now move, please, Councillor Boulanger, Councillor Horbis seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, if council is ready to deal with this one, I will ask our administrator to please read the resolution.
Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 246570, legally described as Lot 1, Plan 51918, and located at 72127 Floodway Drive South, has made application for variation order 105-2024 from unit area accessory structure 1,280 square feet maximum to unit area accessory structure 2,400 square feet, from height accessory structure 20 feet maximum to height accessory structure 21.58 feet. Purpose to increase the unit area and height of accessory building in order to allow for a storage building to be constructed on the subject property. Therefore be it resolved, variation order 105-2024 be approved for the following conditions: that the variance is limited to what is being presented in this application. Any further changes, replacement, or additions will require new variance approval. And 2, applicant owner obtains all required permits from the Red River Planning District and the municipality if required. Approval shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of the date of making.
Thank you for that. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Sutherland seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, so that takes care of our conditional uses and variations. We do have one zoning bylaw that we'll be bringing forward this evening. Okay, if I can have a resolution then to enter into a public hearing for the East Selkirk Secondary Plan Amendment, please.
Resolved that the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be open for bylaw 7-2024.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Spicer seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And I will again turn it over to the planner to walk us through this application, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So this property, this application seeks to amend the East Selkirk Secondary Plan, as you mentioned, and it's seeking to redesignate a portion of 1043 Kitson Road, so right next door to you, from an institutional policy area to an emerging neighborhood and policy area. So here's the subject property, again, adjacent to the municipal office. It's approximately 2.6 acres. And the intent for the redesignation is to allow for future multifamily development in the area. It should be noted that that will require subsequent approvals should the secondary plan be approved. A secondary plan amendment must be consistent with the development plan. So as part of our analysis, we reviewed it against the Red River District, the Red River development plan. And the area in question is designated as settlement center, where it encourages the densification of residential uses. So the proposal is presented in the redesignation to emerging residential neighborhood would be consistent with the development plan. The amendment also circulated to government agencies, and there were no concerns. So we are recommending that second reading be given, and provided there is no sufficient objections, that the third reading could also be given. And again, here is the subject property showing the designation and the location of, and again, the designation and area map. As mentioned, we are recommending that it move forward to second reading. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you for that, Madam Planner. The applicant is in the audience. Do you have anything that you want to add to the application?
Yes, I made a presentation.
Okay.
So Jennifer, if you could stop sharing and then I'll share the other.
I don't know what you guys had for supper, but it smells really good. Yep, that's the right one. Yep. Yeah, so I just wanted to come before you guys and walk you guys through what we're proposing here again, and kind of the steps that we've taken so far. So you can flip to the next slide there. So one of the things that we do whenever we enter into looking into a new project, we try to evaluate several criteria, and you can kind of see this is, these items here, stakeholder input, traffic access, setbacks, policy direction, phasing. These are all things that we keep in mind when we're looking at entering into a project. We want to make sure that we put the right project in the right spot. Not every project that we do is, has the best use in particular areas. So looking at this particular area, we used, we walked through these questions internally to be able to find kind of what fit. Go to the next one. So, so this project went through several iterations. We liked putting a multifamily, a medium density project here. But again, not every multifamily project works, right? So we looked at doing, 3-story walk-ups. We looked at doing, row housing. We looked at a whole bunch of different stuff. You can kind of see on the screen there's several different site plans that we kind of looked through and modeled and mocked up. But ultimately, those plans that you see there, they didn't work for one reason or another. It didn't make sense to do. So you can flip to the next slide. So ultimately, this was what we came up with. We ended up putting the houses kind of coming off of almost a cul-de-sac, so to speak, off of the unnamed road. And this was what our proposal was that we've kind of moved forward with. Let's go to the next. So after that, after we've spoken to council about that, we ended up hosting an open house on September 12th. We sent out about 120 mailers to surrounding residents. You can kind of see that blue highlighted area. Those were all the homes that we sent mailers out to. And then we held the open house at the hall September 12th. And during that time, we only had approximately about 6 people show up. Yeah, and then on the one side, you can see the copy of the letter that we sent out. At that meeting, we made 3 different poster boards kind of explaining what the project was. you know, what our site plan was, kind of what the public could expect, you know, should this project move forward in terms of elevations. And then also a bit of a bulletin of, you know, why we feel like this is a good project for the community. From that point, we've started engaging with a general contractor called Superior Projects. We can go to the next one. So they're a professional general contracting company. Cindy Vermette will most end up likely being the project manager on the project. She's very experienced. And so this will be should this project move forward, it'll be a professionally built and managed project through the construction period. That's something I think that's very important given the area that we're in. You know, we're right beside schools, we're right beside daycares. We're gonna have to make sure that, again, should the project move forward, you know, proper fencing is set up, proper garbage collection is done. I'm very passionate about when we do construction projects, whether we're doing a construction project ourselves or even on our developments where we don't do construction. I'm very cognizant of garbage. It doesn't take a whole lot of wind to blow that stuff across the field, and it makes things dirty. So, you know, we want to make sure that that is being dealt with properly here. That's something that I can commit to you guys here well in advance, that should this project move forward, it won't be acceptable for garbage to be blowing across, you know, daycares. Like that's something that we will deal with. I'm sure there's always circumstances where you get, you know, massive, you know, gusts of wind and stuff like that, but that is something that we will be dealing with. Move on to the next. So ultimately, this is kind of the final site plan that we've ended with. This is virtually the same thing as what I had shown a long time ago. The only difference is that instead of making it one long building or 4 long buildings, we split them. And the reason that we did that was because by splitting it, you can add an exterior window, which allows us to provide more 2-bedroom housing. So right now, what we actually have in terms of density is we have 12 1-bedroom units, we'd have 16 2-bedroom units, and 28 3-bedroom units. Go to the next. So this is what our final rendering here looks like. There might be a little more wood detail. I think we want to, in those arches there, I think we're looking at doing some kind of timber frame detail, but this is essentially what the building will look like. You can go to the next. This is a little bit hard to see off PowerPoint, but this is the main floor. The main floor will be 1 and 2 bedroom. The 1 and 2 bedroom are actually the exact same floor plan, but if you don't have an exterior wall, then you can't call the office a bedroom. So it's the exact same floor plan, exact same square footage. That's the difference, is having an exterior window or not. On to the next. So the second floor for all the buildings there will all be 3 bedrooms. We're able to utilize above the garage for an extra bedroom. And the one thing that you'll notice, and you might have noticed it on the elevation, is where the den is, we'll actually end up putting a bit of a patio. So it'll be a bit of a patio overlooking the parking lot, where people can set up patio chairs, put a barbecue or something like that. So we're trying to utilize as much space as we can on the second floor to be able to accommodate, you know, family or larger family housing. You can go to the next. Oh, well, that's it. Yeah, that's a presentation. That's the type of project that we're looking at doing. I'm here to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Boulanger.
If all approvals go through the way they should, what's your start-finish slot time like?
So we want a time, so it's always a little bit tricky because you want to start before the snow flies for your foundation. At the same time, you want to make sure that you don't finish in winter, right? So from a leasing point of view, you want to try to be ready to lease in spring and summer, kind of before, especially in this area where you can see probably a lot of families looking to move here because of the access to daycare and school. So you really want to try to be done before September. So likely with 10 months of construction, we're gonna probably work backwards to when we start. So likely that would be spring, summer 2025. Yeah, it would be next year, it's just a matter of do you start in spring or do you start in fall?
Okay, anybody else? Go ahead, Councillor
Are
Horwath.
these all rental or are they
Yeah, they're all rentals.
all rentals?
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions from council? Okay, I see that there are a few people in the audience. I'm not sure if they're here for this or something else, but I'm gonna open it up and see. Is there anybody else in the audience who wishes to speak on this application or this rezoning?
I'm here just for the information, but when you say rental,
Excuse me, ma'am,
You'll have to.
Sorry. Oh,
you have to tell us who you
Sorry,
are
Diane.
and your address and so forth. Thank you.
And speak to the chair.
my name is Diane McGee. I'm at 304 George Street North. And yeah, I just came because there was nothing on TV tonight. But yeah, and I take an interest in our community. So when you say rental,
Ma'am,
when you
ask
say
the
No,
question
she's
to-
asking a question.
you asked a question to the chair,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
my question or concern would be, when you say rental, is it a month-to-month rental, annual lease rental? What is it?
Alan, if you could just answer that, like, is it a long-term?
Yeah, no, we would-
Month to month?
I mean, we have, so part of our company is Shingle Properties, which is a property management company.
Right.
So we deal with rentals and leases all the time. Ideally, it's a 1 year or longer lease. I mean, we're providing family homes because we know that there's a need in the market for family housing. So I would really hope that we have long-term tenants here. I think we'll end up getting that, just given the proximity and the lack of 3-bedroom rentals within the market right now. But we would be asking for 1 year leases. That said, there's a lot of circumstances where someone might only need a 1 month rental, but that's typically not what we do. Typically our average lease is 1 or more years. It's uncommon to get leases longer than a year, but we also shy away from leases that are less than a year.
Could I ask what a 3-bedroom would cost for rental?
Approximate cost for a 3-bedroom.
Yeah, so it ranges anywhere from $1,600 to $1,900 a month, depending on what it is. That's kind of what the market is right now.
Does that include which utilities?
That would probably cover utilities.
Probably.
We haven't set rates yet.
What type of heat?
Normally it's electric heat.
Okay. Okay, guess that's about it.
That's about it, Diane?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak to this application? Okay, go ahead, Councillor Strang, you had a question or comment?
I just wanted to actually also ask, is there a fence that would be along the front of Kitson Road and then along, that would go along the back of our municipal?
We haven't shown any in our site plan. I mean, I'm open to what might be required, but we hadn't planned for any.
I'm just looking because then that would be backyards that would be facing Kitson Road, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, anything else? Anyone else in the audience have anything that they would like to bring forward at this time? I'm not seeing anybody raise a hand or come forward, so with that, I will ask for a resolution to close the public hearing on bylaw 7 of 2024.
resolved that the public hearing for bylaw 7 of 2024 be closed and regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Boulanger, Councillor Strang, seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, so at this point in time, I do believe that we can proceed with second reading for this application. So if you could bring that forward for second reading.
Resolved bylaw 7 of 2024 being a bylaw to amend the Arma St. Clements East Selkirk secondary plan as amended be given third reading.
Second reading.
Or sorry, to be given second reading.
I wasn't gonna correct it.
Are you
Very
moving that,
unfortunate when
Councillor
you're reading when you
Spicer?
don't know what you're reading.
Okay, moved by Councillor Spicer, seconded by Councillor Sutherland. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And I do believe that we can give it third reading this evening.
We have no objections, Madam Mayor, so we can proceed to third reading.
Thank you. If you could bring that forward then.
Resolved bylaw 7 of 2024 being a bylaw to amend the Arma St. Clements East Selkirk secondary plan as amended be read a third time.
Can I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Horvis. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, we have one more planning item on our agendas for this evening, and Jennifer, I don't know if you need to stay around. It's a resolution amendment for subdivision S23-3018.
No, I think that's Kayla. Thank you, Madam Chair. Have a good evening.
Yes, you too, thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, so, Madam Mayor, what we have is this is dealing with subdivision S23-3018, which received approval on November 21st last year in 2023, and the resolution which included condition 1D, which was entered into a development agreement with the Arma St. Clements to address road access onto the road 31 East at the construction of the driveway. The dwelling on the proposed lot was currently being assessed by means, or accessed by means of a shared driveway. This shared driveway was between a parcel that was not part of the current subdivision. With the proposed subdivision, access for the proposed lot would no longer be in compliance. The applicant developer has since constructed and completed a new approach and driveway fronting onto Road 31 East to allow for the dwelling on the proposed lot and to be in compliance with the front onto it all by the road. An inspection of the newly constructed approach has been performed by our Public Works Department, and they have deemed everything in compliance. Based on this, the resolution requiring us to go into a development agreement is no longer needed. So we've come forward with a new resolution to address this item.
Okay, council, let's deal with it. If you want to bring that forward then, please.
Whereas the development agreement for subdivision S23-3018 is no longer required, therefore be it resolved, council remove the condition 1.D, enter into a development agreement with the Arma St. Clements to address road access onto Road 31E and the construction of driveway for the proposed lot as previously approved by council on resolution 2023-640.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horvis, second, please. Councillor Spicer, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, I am not sure.
We have one more item left to go into the
Thank
camera,
you.
Madam Mayor. And so I can bring that up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
So resolve council recess the regular meeting and go into in-camera to discuss legal and personnel issues. And further be it resolved that all matters discussed are to remain confidential as per section 83(1)D of the Municipal Act.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horvis, Councillor Sutherland, seconds. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We'll give Kayla a minute to close the camera. And I'm going to send Jennifer a note.
Recording stopped.